Okay, honestly, up to this point, those were just our basic shapes. All those formulas are on here, and those are all formulas that you've used before in junior high. Now we're going to kind of start talking about what might be a little bit new. Is we're going to do what's called composite shapes. Composite is when I put two things together, and it's basically just putting two different shapes we already know together to find the area of things. Because in the real world, things are rarely just a kite or a circle. It's usually some other shape that we need to figure out. So for instance, this is part of a basketball court, and we want to figure out the area of this part. Maybe we need to put some new surfacing down, or to put some new paint down, or whatever. We want to find out this area. Well, what we have to do first is we have to first divide this into the shape. So for instance, on this one, I could say, well, it's a circle and then this shape here, but I don't know a formula for this weird shape here with the little cutout of it. I do know the formula for a rectangle, and then this here is just a half a circle, and I can easily do that because I just do a half a circle. I just do a circle and then divide by 2. So I can easily do this one. So that's step 1, is divide it into 2 shapes that you know the formulas for. Then, step 2, write out the work. You really have to write out this work. Some of those other ones, you maybe aren't showing your work on everything. You really want to write out the work on this part. This is how I like to do it. I like to say this is the rectangle plus the half circle. And I write it like that. When I write this plus a half circle, this helps me remember that I got to do a half circle here. Well, the rectangle is 19 times 12, and the half circle is 1/2, because it's half a circle. Then it's going to be pi r squared. Well, let's see. What is the radius of this circle? You have to kind of figure these things out. So if this end is 12, this part here is 12. So that means the diagonal of the diameter is 12. So, that means the radius has to be 6. So, I've written out my formula. Then, use calculator. And it's real important not to do steps in the middle and round off in the middle of your problems. I honestly write it out like this, and then I type this all in my calculator in one step. I'm trying to clear it. There we go. So I'm just going to type this in just like it is in my calculator. 19 times 12 plus, I'm going to do that as 1/2, 3.14 times 6 squared. If you type this all in one step, you're in good shape. When you start typing in part and then you hit enter and then you do something else and then you hit enter and then you do something else, that's going to mess you up. Put it one step and you're done. Feet squared. Okay, let's do the next one. So this one, I'm going to do these same steps, and what I'm going to put units, so we don't forget our units. So the next one, divide it up into the parts that we see there. Well, I see this rectangle, so I've got a rectangle, and I see a triangle. Okay, so I divided it into the shapes. Now I'm going to write out the work. Well, the rectangle is 9 times 7. And then the triangle is 1/2 the base. Where's the base of the triangle? Well, it would be this side. But this side of the rectangle is the same length as that side, so it has to be 9. And then the height of the triangle is 6. There we go. I've gotten it all written out. Now I'll use the calculator. 9 times 7 plus 1/2 times 9 times 6. 90 meters squared. Okay, so on some of these problems, they don't make it as obvious where the parts are, but we're still going to do the same steps. Divide this into 2 parts I can deal with. Well, I can divide it like this. There's a rectangle, and there's another rectangle. So I got a little rectangle, another rectangle. Okay. This picture appears to have part of it left off. It should have said 11 yards right here. It should have said 11 yards on this side. So we have to figure out what this side of the pink one is, though. So what I need to do is say, well, this side is 11 and this part is 6, so how much does this pink part have to be? Well, it has to be 5 yards, because I just subtract them. So the pink one is actually 6 times 5. Now I've written it all out. Now I can use my calculator. And I get that it's 102. So sometimes you have to figure out a length that you need. And then sometimes you have almost the opposite problem, where they give you so much information on the problem, you have to figure out what you're going to cut it down to. Well, this one, you need to cut it down to a trapezoid and a rectangle. So I've got a rectangle and a trapezoid. So on my trapezoid, I need 1/2, add the bases together. Well, this base, excuse me, that base is 19, and this base, well, it's the same as that one, so it's 7, and the height of the trapezoid is 8. Now I'm going to add on the rectangle, so the rectangle is, right here, its length times width is 7 times 4. Now I'm ready to use a calculator. Okay, I typed it in just like I have on my paper there, and hit enter, and my answer is 132 centimeters squared. I forgot to mention it earlier in the videos, but I've left the back of this blank on purpose, so you can use the back of this as scratch paper as you work on the rest of your little quizzes in the Nearpod. That's it. You're done with this part.